People think that space is a quiet and desolate vacuum of emptiness. Between the stars and planets, there exists a vast realm of nothingness. However, space is very active. Traveling throughout the cosmos are a variety of signals broadcasting their presence to anyone who will listen. Many of these signals are stars, quasars, and other celestial phenomena. Yet some of these signals, perhaps many of them, are extraterrestrial beings talking to each other, and perhaps talking to us. Stars and planets each have a unique radio signature. For example, Jupiter's magnetic field hisses and sighs. Neptune sounds like a vast, desolate ocean. The rings of Uranus chime. And Saturn has an eerie, bold sound of wind and tone. And of course, the Earth emits a multitude of signals from all the radio transmitters around the globe, sending signals into deep space to anyone who can tune them in. The question is there anyone out there listening? And if so, are they trying to contact us? Perhaps they already have. On August 15, 1977, a strong narrowband radio signal was received by Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope. The signal appeared to come from the constellation Sagittarius and bore the expected hallmarks of extraterrestrial origin. Astronomer Jerry R. Eman discovered the anomaly a few days later while reviewing the recorded data. He was so impressed by the result that he circled the reading on the computer's printout and wrote the comment "Wow" on its side, which is how the event has since been referred to. The entire signal sequence lasted 72 seconds, the window the Big Ear was able to observe it, but has not been detected since, despite several subsequent attempts by Ehrman and others. Various hypotheses on the source of the emission has been put forward, although the possibility of a natural origin has not been completely discounted. To date, the WOW signal is considered the best candidate for an alien radio transmission ever received. In 2012, on the 35th anniversary of the WOW signal's reception, scientists at the Arecibo Observatory beamed a response from humanity containing 10,000 Twitter messages in the direction from which the signal originated. They attempted to increase the chances of any intelligent life receiving and decoding the celebrity videos and crowdsourced tweets by attaching a repeating sequence header to each message, so the recipient will know that the messages are intentional and from another intelligent life form. That signal is now traveling in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius at the speed of light. One can only hope it is received by benevolent extraterrestrials. The WOW signal and our response is not the first time scientists have intentionally sent a signal into space with the hope someone may receive it. In 1974, Carl Sagan sent a broadcast known as the Arecibo message into space via radio waves. The message aimed at ET was the most powerful radio broadcast ever beamed into space by mankind. In comparison, the signal sent out into space was 1,000,000 times stronger than that of a typical television transmission. Directed to a star cluster located over 25,000 light years away, the pictorial message was sent in hopes that one day we would receive a similar response. The radio signal included our planet's location within our star system, core principles of math and science, and the antenna that was used to transmit the signal, all characteristics that an intelligent alien civilization should understand. The message prepared by Carl Sagan and his colleagues also included information about our species, even our physical appearance, as well as our DNA code. 27 years later, in 2001, a crop circle appeared, shaking the scientific community. A pattern appeared on a crop field next to the UK's largest telescope and observatory, the Chilbolton, where the world's largest fully steerable meteorological radar is located. This circle in wheat looked like a response to the 1974 broadcast. It was considered by many as one of the most impressive and important crop circles ever to appear on our planet, since the crop circle, unlike others, carries a message, or better said, a response from space. Describing a different solar system in the universe, the image of the sender, non-human DNA, and some microwave antenna, the Chilbolton crop circle was the ultimate response we had ever hoped for. According to mathematicians, the decimal equivalents of the binary code were unchanged from the Arecibo original, but the atomic numbers of the elements composed the basics of life had been altered. Silicon, an element with an atomic number of 14, was added precisely in the correct sequence between oxygen and phosphorus. All of the information in the crop image is consistent with a response from an extraterrestrial source. Whether or not the crop circle that appeared next to the Chilbolton was in fact an alien response is still up for debate. However, many people are firmly convinced that not only is the crop circle of 2001 a real message from another intelligent alien civilization in the universe, but we receive similar messages nearly every day. Indeed, messages from space have been around since the inception of radio itself. Nikola Tesla, the inventor of radio, was convinced he received messages from aliens at the turn of the 20th century. Tesla was the first to attempt to communicate with neighboring worlds using radio waves. In 1899, he was at his laboratory in Colorado Springs, driving monstrous surges of power into the earth and also beaming energy outward from the 280-foot tower he had built. He had instruments to record electromagnetic disturbances from all around. During the tests, Tesla began picking up odd data on his instruments. He was sure that this was a signal of some sort. Keep in mind that no one at that time could have been transmitting other than Marconi, who was just beginning tests in Italy. The signals came periodically and with such a clear suggestion of number and order that they were not traceable to any cause then known to man. Tesla was familiar with electrical disturbances produced by the sun, the aurora borealis, and earth currents, and was sure that these variations were due to none of those causes.
A purpose was behind these signals. They are the results of an attempt by some human beings, not of this world, to speak to us by signals. I am absolutely certain that they are not caused by anything terrestrial. The feeling is constantly growing on me that I had been the first to hear the greeting of one planet to another. The Martians, or the inhabitants of whatever planet had signaled to us, would understand that once we had got their message across the gulf of space and had sent back a response, to convey a knowledge of form by such means is, while difficult, not impossible, and I have already found a way of doing it.
Did Tesla's experiments transmit radio signals to some of our nearer planets? Had Tesla unintentionally detected signals from another civilization, or did he simply make an error? Probably we'll never know. Because of his financial problems, the large part of his research notes and other papers were auctioned off after his death. Also lost are much of his other research papers. How much of Tesla's work remains hidden and confiscated? It's unknown, and thus much of his scientific work of great value has been lost forever. In a rare case published in 2016, scientists have discovered not radio signals, but rather light beams emanating from space that could be extraterrestrials trying to communicate. The claim of two scientists that they may have found evidence of intelligent aliens is raising some astronomers' eyebrows. Appearing in the journal Publications of the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, the pair's study reports that 234 stars out of over 2 million surveyed have signals in the form of light pulses they say are best explained by intelligent ETs from far away. After discussing a couple of explanations for what could be causing the signals, the study states, finally, we consider the possibility, predicted in our previous published paper, that the signals are caused by light pulses generated by extraterrestrial intelligence to make us aware of their existence. What's more, these signals have exactly the shape that scientists would expect to see from intelligent aliens, according to the study. But the Berkeley SETI Research Center says more research is necessary, and it is too early to unequivocally attribute these purported signals to the activities of extraterrestrial civilizations. The organization said that they will observe some of the stars in question using a nearly 8-foot optical telescope called the Automatic Planet Finder, and that they look forward to consulting with the scientists behind the controversial claim. The controversy comes onto the heels of new data about a strange star that's been dimming in recent years, leading some to speculate about an alien megastructure. Tabby's star, an F-class star located in the constellation Cygnus with an official long numerical name, has befuddled many scientists due to its light emissions. Unusual light fluctuations of the star were discovered by citizen scientists as part of the Planet Hunters project in September of 2015. Several hypotheses have been proposed to explain the star's large irregular changes in brightness as measured by its unusual light curve, but none have fully explained all aspects of the curve. The leading hypothesis, based on a lack of observed infrared light, suggests a swarm of cold, dusty comet fragments in a highly eccentric orbit near the star. Another hypothesis is that of a large number of small masses in tight formation orbiting the star. However, the most common and perhaps frightening theory is that the changes in brightness could be signs of activity associated with intelligent extraterrestrial life constructing a Dyson sphere. A Dyson sphere is a hypothetical megastructure that completely encompasses a star and captures most or all of its power output. This energy could be used to sustain a civilization indefinitely and would explain the 20% loss of light output from the star. If not a sphere, then possibly a swarm of satellites, space stations, or even ships in close formation near the star could cause this dimming effect. The SETI Institute's initial radio reconnaissance of Tabby's star, however, found no evidence of technology-related radio signals from the star. A fundraising campaign was led by Tabitha Boyett, the author of the initial study on the star's anomalous light curve. The project proposes to use the Las Cumbres Observatory Global Telescope Network to continue observation of the star in the future and observe it in additional wavelengths to reveal new details on the composition of the objects surrounding the star. The campaign raised over $100,000, enough for 1 year of observations. Scientists believe the likelihood of extraterrestrial intelligence being the cause of the dimming is low. However, the star remains an outstanding SETI target because natural explanations have yet to fully explain the dimming phenomenon. Strange signals from space have occurred many times in the past. Most are either not confirmed or do not repeat so they can be clarified. In 2016, a star in the constellation of Hercules briefly attracted media attention after it was reported that a possible SETI signal had been detected from the direction of the star in the previous year. The signal was only heard once and never confirmed by other telescopes, and it is thought to have been due to terrestrial interference, though no one knows for sure. It was observed only once, for 2 seconds, by a single team at a single telescope. Several attempts to find and record the signal were made by astronomers around the world. No signal was detected at the position and frequency of the transient reported by the Rattan Group. In May of 2015, Russian astronomers received a weak signal from a solar system some 94 light years away. That system has a star similar to our Sun. There's one known planet circling that star, about the size of Neptune and very close to the star. The signal was unusual in its design and beam shape. Astronomers thought the signal was interesting, but since it didn't repeat, they have nothing more to go on. Italian scientists were baffled by nearly 24 radio sources from deep space that could potentially be coming from extraterrestrial life. Italian scientists spent several months observing the signals and could not pinpoint their source. The absence of light in the optical or ultraviolet spectrums rules out stars as the source. On May the 18th of 2016, the scientists wrote they had detected significant emissions in the soft X-ray band for 9 of the investigated sources. Because these signals were coming from deep space, it was not apparent which specific star may be the origin. The Italian scientists requested further infrared studies of the area to determine their nature. Humans should be extremely wary about answering any signals from alien civilizations. That's the stark warning from Professor Stephen Hawking, who fears extraterrestrials would quickly conquer our planet. The renowned astrophysicist voiced the fears during his new online show, Stephen Hawking's Favorite Places. He believes there could be life on other worlds, but warns a meeting between civilizations would resemble when Columbus met Native Americans, adding that didn't turn out well. Hawking said as he grows older, he is more convinced than ever that we are not alone. One day we might receive a signal from a planet like this, but we should be wary of answering back. Hawkins references his involvement in the Breakthrough Listening Project, a 10-year, $100 million initiative funded by a Russian billionaire. This groundbreaking project aims to fire tiny spacecraft into the furthest reaches of deep space. This project also plans on using the world's most sensitive radio telescopes to listen in on 10 times the amount of sky than was previously achieved. Hawking said the real challenge is to work out what aliens might actually be like. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, occur occasionally and no one knows what is causing them. Usually an FRB only happens once, a single burst coming from an unknown part of the sky. But in a paper published in Nature, researchers found a repeating sequence of a total of 10 FRBs. Not only did these bursts repeat, but their brightness and spectra also differ from those of other FRBs. So now, instead of just one strange category of weird radio signals, astronomers have a totally new category to deal with. There is some speculation that instead of being caused by an explosion or other cataclysm, these repeating FRBs was caused by a rotating neutron star, but they won't know until they can get more information. The universe is teeming with weird and unusual radio signals. Many boggle the mind as to where they may be coming from or from whom. But space is not the only place you can find strange signals. Here on Earth, there are radio transmitters sending signals that may be intended for extraterrestrial ears. Here on Earth, there is a phenomenon of bizarre radio signals you can listen to yourself. No one knows their purpose, or in some cases, where they are being broadcast from. They are called number stations and could be a way governments communicate with spies, or even ETs living here on Earth. Most assume a number station is a category of shortwave radio stations characterized by broadcasts of formatted numbers addressed to intelligence officers operating in foreign countries. Most identified stations use speech synthesis to vocalize numbers, although the digital modes such as phase shift keying and frequency shift keying, as well as Morse code transmissions, are also used. UVB-76, also known as the buzzer, is the nickname given by radio listeners to a shortwave radio station that broadcasts on the frequency of 4625 kilohertz. It broadcasts a short, monotonous buzz tone, repeating at a rate of approximately 25 tones per minute, 24 hours a day. Sometimes the buzzer signal is interrupted and a voice transmission in Russian takes place. The first reports were made of a station on this frequency in 1982. Its origins have been traced to Russia, and although several theories with varying degrees of plausibility exist, its actual purpose has never been officially confirmed and remains a source of speculation. The creepy and sometimes incoherent broadcasts from UVB-76 sounds like this. Other number stations have different broadcasts, such as these. Whatever these signals are, they have mystified listeners since the 1970s when they were first detected by amateur radio enthusiasts. Since then, listeners have monitored these stations and heard many bizarre things, such as what appears to be phone conversations, alien signals, alien language, and even a fight with the microphone accidentally left open. Using modern computer technology and audio software, listeners have scoured the signals for hidden messages and signals within signals. Both male and female voices have been heard. Since their discovery, a small group of station enthusiasts have kept a close ear on these broadcasts, listening intently for whatever they do next. Internet message boards and groups have been founded to report unusual things heard from these transmitters. Whatever these signals are, like all AM broadcasts, they travel away from our planet into deep space and may even be some encrypted communication with extraterrestrial receivers, though their purpose can only be imagined. It is entirely possible that aliens have been receiving our signals and have been messing with our own spacecraft. Space probe Voyager 2, during its path through space, sent a message to its base on Earth in a quite unintelligible language. NASA, after over 6 years, did not know the reason, but they know that it cannot be accidental. Voyager 2 is the first spacecraft to leave the solar system in 2010, and it was in the moments when the spacecraft would enter into interstellar space that a strange thing happened. NASA would consider someone